Good morning, friends, and welcome back to Trans India Real People, Real Emotions. Today, we feature the second part of our interaction with Rama Shankar Pandey, CEO of Tata Green Batteries and a road safety activist. In our last episode, we discussed how the science behind road safety was being ignored and people were leaving it to fate to survive situations which could turn ugly in a second. Some are lucky, while some are not. But the common factor is that road safety is not taken seriously in India. The statistics are piling up, but self awareness is missing. Let's continue our interaction with Ram and see what drew him to become a road safety activist.
How did you get into road safety? What was the trigger?
I think there was no trigger, one sort of trigger. I was building this company, Hella India Lighting, from scratch, and I was first time I saw the data point. This was 2010, and the data point I was just again and again. I was not believing that every minute one accident, every 4 minutes one death, and I saw this is the biggest cause of death in the country. There is no other unnatural death, and it was more of a ascharj that nobody even knows about it, and so many Indians are dying. Then I read a data point that on border, as many army people die, more defense people die inside the country by road crash. I said, how come this is the biggest enemy? It's like a national security threat within the company, and we are talking about terrorists, we are talking about wars, and bigger and biggest of that is this. And then I saw there's a connect for that company which I was building, Hella India Lighting, and this 40% plus people are dying with tailgating. I said I can make a difference because I was pretty young. I became almost youngest MD at that time for a listed MNC, and I said that can I solve a real society's real life problem by a business case? And people always tell me, ya to business kar lo, ya society ka kar lo. And I always believe in Bosch. Also, I did a lot of this mechanic training. I started my first trust or foundation with my colleagues in Bosch, Myco Bosch. This was 98, called Prayas. Okay. Where we started underprivileged youth. We used to train them to become mechanic. I used to work in the daytime. In the night time, I used to train them. So I used to really build them, and they get jobs. The first batch I did in Patna, I think these people are now like at the level of country head in many companies. Wonderful. So it's so satisfying. So I saw, and of course, Bosch also got benefited. They got skilled technicians, skilled training. In fact, NSDC and all came later. I was doing this much before. The first course of technician I remember with CII and School of Open Learning, Delhi University. We did it. Mr. Thadani from NIT founder. He was the chairman. I was one of the task force member with me. I was very young that time. I think I may be 21, 22 years old, but I was very keen. Clarity was there that we can run business and this together. And with that, I ran all my life. 26 years, there is no day when I'm not doing both. It really helps me. So when I saw that there is I can prove this. In fact, there's a HBR case study, Harvard Business Review case study on my company, which I built in past on Hella India Lighting, that how you can build a company around a purpose. The purpose melt everybody. So the fleet owner will support you, employee will support you, shareholder will support you, banks will support you, everybody, industry bodies will support you because you are doing a good business. And it is to make money, you don't have to do bad business. You can do good business. And I'm an example of that, how this company from BIFR became such a celebrated company. This was around the purpose. So that purpose which led, and not only that, the solution became, now today we save thousands of people on road because of that. So it's a win for the society. Absolutely. It's a win for the company group and also for the employees. If somebody's family asks, Papa, aap kya karte ho? What do you do in the office? And somebody says, I save people on road, how proud he is. Yes. And what he can reply to the kids, there's a purpose attached. And everybody needs a meaningful life, Now people are having this question mark. What I'm doing? I'm in a rat race. No, I'm doing something. So with that purpose, we created that company as India's great place to work company. Top 20 manufacturing great places to come. It was such a tiny company. All were big companies. We had in that list, I remember Mahindra's were there, Siemens was there, Indian Oil was there, all the big companies. It's such a small company. I felt so that whole purpose which came was while I was studying this data and said we can make a difference. So we created a blue ocean strategy where we say that where we stand today, where we want to stand tomorrow, And I became a kind of a turnaround expert, I really felt good. And I'm doing this now in Tata Batteries
Yes,
also.
you're turning around again now.
Yeah, I'm working here with really, India did not know that Tata makes batteries, for every application. We actually compete with the known name like Exide, Amaron and others. And we are Tata as such a big brand. The moment India will know, immediately at least 1/3 of Indians will prefer Tata. I was very sure about it. So I started working again here also on a very good social cause, which is about the lead poisoning of children. 23 crore children are lead poisoned in our country. So why I got this road safety as a central theme in my last company, and I continue even in this company because Tatas are also helping me to do that, was because I felt that business case can be built around a social problem. Later, I came to know when I joined Tata, this is what Tata does. Community in the center of every business of Tata. They want to really create some value for them. So for me, it started with that. Of course, I had a bad, I will say a lot of bad memories of people dying around me. One of that was my first supervisor. So when I was in Bosch, I got a very early promotion. I was one of the youngest business manager there in Bosch. Very early promotion and career growth. But the person who gave me charge in Patna, who was the business manager, he was in his 50s and I was just 20 and a half. And when I became the business manager and I took charge from him, when he was going back to his next office, which was Lucknow from Patna, he had an accident on that Barabanki road, and then he died. And I've seen his family suffering. So that was one very close incident. And of course, not only that, there were many. In my childhood days, I was coming. I belong to a place called Madhubani. I was coming on the normal main road because those are small roads, does not have divider and all. And there was an accident of a child by a bus. So there were two things which is still I feel so immediately depressed with that. One was that that body left on the road it's always comes back in my mind. In fact, because of that memory again and again, I had personally a lot of mishappenings. I was falling from cycles. I had accident because every time it was going back to that dead body there. I was a small child and the ear was broken and the blood was coming. And at the same time, there was another incident. Same time, the people dragged the driver from the bus and they beat him to death almost.
Right.
So these two incidents were like, why these are all happening? At the first place, why these accidents are happening? But these were I'm talking when I might be in class 6 or 7. But this did not cause me to do something. But when I had a chance to do, I had a platform in Hela. So I built this whole vision, technology of tomorrow for the life of today on Indian roads. And I put all my resources, energy into making business for the company, but with this solving a problem. So this was my connection to the road safety. Which, in fact, less people know me as a CEO, more know me like an activist. Yeah, but this is how I'm kind of a CEO activist, which I feel that we can solve this problem.
Ram, coming back to accidents, do you think driver training in India is something which is lacking big time, be it trucks or be it cars also? I mean, when I gave my driving test, I drove 50 meters and tum pass ho gaya. So is that something lacking?
Tell me one thing. Do you really learn when you give exams in the class? If you remember your studies, when you apply the knowledge, then only you learn, right?
Correct.
So what happens in driving, the problem is, if I tell you today how good you are driving, how will you tell me? You will tell me based on your judgment about your driving. Is there any objective way to know? So I tell you, it is also, don't blame people. It's about also what kind of tool we are giving to people. Today, it's an era of chat GPT. It's a generative AI. It's artificial intelligence. We have enough technology, believe me, to tell you how good you are driving. But we are not using. That's why I'm coming back to science. I feel so sad that so much of technology we have, so many engineers, I always call innovate for purpose. So today, we have a lot of solution can be done. In fact, I have demonstrated it 2 years back when Rajnath ji and Gadkari ji, flagged off a championship. We built a small AI-based tool which can give you, and this is something which anybody can do, not only that campaign did, you will know how good you're in driving. In fact, there was one challenge we threw to people, and I think millions of people did that, was you have a mobile. In your mobile, you have all the data is getting recorded. So mobile itself can tell you how fast you are driving, how abrupt you are driving. So just like a Google map, you can have a safety map of road. So what we did, we captured a lot of data of potholes and all the humps, and you threw a challenge to the drivers in that mobile. It used to be called, I remember that safe speed challenge. That was Stockholm. I was there with Gadkari ji. We did the ministerial conference. We came back, and then next year we did the Safe Speed Challenge, where we said, everybody download this app. You will be triggered the moment an pothole is coming, pothole or any hump is coming, and it will say slow down. If you slow down, you get extra marks.
Okay.
If you don't, you get a penalty. And based on your driving behavior, you get a score. And the top scorer got Mr. Gadkari's signed stickers. Can you imagine? For their car.
Wow.
We gave them huge appreciation. So this, I think I remember the tagline of that campaign, which said, "Na to चालान के लिए, ना तो शान के लिए, ना तो चालान के लिए, सेफ स्पीड चैलेंज अपने और अपनों की जान के लिए,
Wow.
और इनाम के लिए."
That's so apt. That's so apt.
That is what we did. And Gadkari ji flagged it off. Rajnath ji flagged it off. उसमें हमने क्या किया था, 5 लेडी ड्राइवर को अमृतसर में बिठाया था ऑन कैमरा, just to show how a lady driver can drive, one of the best. And then we rated them. So there was a camera system and there was a telematics, and it used to give a score to every driver, how safe they are driving. It was all live TV. And then people rated them, and one of them was like a winner, and they used to give interview every evening. So they used to they drove from Amritsar to Kanyakumari, and I tell you, even in Bombay, this ceiling, you will see a drone picture which you might have never seen. How the vehicle have 2-second distance, exact matching 2-second distance for long. Those videos are mesmerizing. So I think somewhere, as you rightly said, now that nobody knows how good or bad they are driving, because they judge from their mind, subjective.
Their
You need to make it
perspective,
objective. The benefit of that is the moment you know that you're doing a mistake, you'll correct, assist and alert. So from that whole driving license and all of that, see, you can still pass driving license once, right? In a small, like you say, but it doesn't mean you've applied all your skill. Your skill needs a continuous on-the-drive monitoring. So that on-the-drive monitoring exists today. Many new cars have it. Yeah. So the good time has come. Believe me, now I believe even more that we'll solve this problem. I have such a high optimism on this, that if we have a national rating of these drivers, and if everybody start giving some kind of discount on that, suppose you go to a mall and you get your parking free because your score is 500. If somebody has a score of 700, he even gets a discount on some brands there. This is what my dream actually, that it should become cool to drive safe.
That's
And
what.
then,
Correct.
and you learn on the go, na? Every time this chatbot will tell you what you did near miss it. See, if accident anyway happens, you can't do anything. But if you know that, oh, accident could have happened, you can correct it. So learning is a continuous phenomena. It's not one-time licensing phenomena.
True.
So now technology is there. And that's why my answer to this question is that the training of driver now should happen on the go. And in ASDC, where I'm also governing council member, we have already made a lot of qualifications on driving. If you really want to get trained on them, but there's no incentive today.
True.
People are not coming to get. In fact, good IDTRs does not get money.
Absolutely.
There's no business case. So I want people to have this grace that they are trained. But for that, some incentive has to happen. And that's what I'm trying to get many brands. Like some brands have supported me. And someday you will see I'll come up with this score where you can get some privilege of having a better driving score. Yeah, especially young people will love it. It's a gamification. So lot of startups I'm supporting in that. For example, this Jehan, which I was telling, Jehan is giving some incentive every kilometer.
Correct.
So the more we give incentive for safe driving, and it becomes a cool thing, people will get trained themselves. Because only when you are told every time, you did something wrong, told. Something wrong, told. You get improving. Improvement is a continuous
Consciously you will work on it.
It's like a Kaizen. Nobody is a super. And despite that, it also can happen, believe me, that even despite all the great skill, you can still do a mistake.
Yes.
It's fine.
I mean, accidents,
but that is mistake. That's an accident. That's not something which you are doing knowingly.
Intentionally you didn't go into it.
But today you are doing it a lot knowingly.
Yes.
This is what we have to change.
We will continue our interaction with Rama Shankar Pandey after this very short break. You are watching Trans India, real people, real emotions.
भारत के सभी ट्रक ओनर और ट्रक ड्राइवर भाइयों के लिए खुशखबरी। किसी भी पेट्रोल पंप से 5000 का डीजल फिल करें और पाए ट्रांसपोर्ट मार्केट का 3 महीने का सब्सक्रिप्शन बिल्कुल फ्री। पर इस ऑफर को रिवाइज कैसे करूं? अरे बिल्कुल आसान है। किसी भी पेट्रोल पंप से 5000 का डीजल फिल करें और पेमेंट का स्क्रीनशॉट 9320061511 पर व्हाट्सएप करें। वेरिफिकेशन के लिए पेट्रोल पंप पर ट्रक नंबर के साथ आपकी सेल्फी निकालें और व्हाट्सएप करें। याद रखें, यह ऑफर मार्च 2024 तक ही वैलिड है, तो जल्दी करें, ऑफर मिस ना करें। और इस वीडियो को सभी ट्रक मालिक एवं ड्राइवर भाइयों के साथ शेयर जरूर करें। अब आप अपने परिवार का ख्याल रखिए। ट्रक के लिए लोड की चिंता करने के लिए ट्रैकिंग ट्रांसपोर्ट मार्केट है ना।
स्कूल बच्चों का दूसरा घर होता है और इस घर का ख्याल रखना एक प्रिंसिपल के लिए आसान नहीं। पढ़ाई के साथ बच्चों का आराम, उनकी सेफ्टी, छोटी से छोटी चीज़ मेरी प्रायोरिटी है। वैसे ही स्कूल बस चुनना भी एक बहुत बड़ा डिसीजन था। पेरेंट्स का पीस ऑफ माइंड, मैनेजमेंट का भरोसा और बजट साथ लिए चलना पड़ता है। इसीलिए कभी कभी फर्म भी बनना पड़ता है। आखिर कोई अपने बच्चों की जिम्मेदारी मुझे दे रहा है, तो कोई बजट की। लेकिन इतने सालों में एक चीज़ समझ आई है, अगर सही डिसीजन लें तो सबसे ज़्यादा प्यार भी प्रिंसिपल को ही मिलता है।
चुनिए महिंद्रा क्रूजियर स्कूल बसेस। यह है मजबूत ट्यूबुलर स्ट्रक्चर, एंटी लॉक ब्रेकिंग, एंटी रोल बार, पैराबोलिक सस्पेंशन, आईमैक्स, वाइडर सीट्स और बेस्ट इन क्लास माइलेज के साथ बच्चों के लिए सेफ और बाकी सबके लिए सबसे स्मार्ट चॉइस, महिंद्रा क्रूजियर स्कूल बस।
Welcome back to Trans India. Real people, real emotions. We are in conversation with Rama Shankar Pandey, a road safety activist who is also the CEO of Tata Green Batteries and chairman of FICCI's subcommittee on road safety.
But I'm coming back to truck drivers. Prime Minister Modi recently made an announcement of having highway rest centers for truck drivers. Do you believe that will also help in reducing accidents?
No,
in a
not,
big way?
not. It was a demand from many of us. You can see many of my, whether it is Driver Dunya or you can see in many of my articles, it was a demand. We tried to do it with World Bank, with many of these impact capital, but with a scale what India is, it can never happen without government. I still remember Ministry of Road Transport with PwC, with World Bank Fund, we made a lot of points, and one of the major point was this: the driver fatigue. Imagine a person who does not have respect in society, who is not well slept, not well fed, who even could not go to toilet or properly, and he's on the steering, having a truck sometimes which does not have a good visibility or lighting, so much of variables in front of him.
Yes.
And look at his salary, look at, his salary structure is almost like he's a thief. And any time any cop comes and he can just put his collar and put him down, and he cannot tell his kids that I'm doing this. And so imagine that pathetic situation of driver. And then when the accident happens, the guy will be immediately, decision is taken,
Yes.
and the crowd will lynch.
Absolutely.
That's why you see this current controversy on this hit and run case. Because they fear this. Not fear, it happens. I've seen from my own eyes that the big guy is always the culprit.
Correct.
The big truck is culprit. Any big vehicle is the culprit. So it is on the spot, Supreme Court decide like this. They are and the punishment given to them. Now in that situation, these drivers and their overall scenario is so sad. So not only this driver centers, we need many more things for driver. We need a professional body for driver, just like a air pilot for the aircraft. So these were some of the demands we have been asking, all the road safety activists we are asking. One was always this, that they need some place to sleep. So I think ITWA and EcoGoa, a lot of these people are doing few centers, but it needs many. So I think his announcement now is I was there in Pragati Maidan when we were having this, because I'm also part of ACMA as chairman of aftermarket committee and executive council member. I was there as one of the organizers. I felt so good. Immediately I was tweeting that, wow, we got it.
Finally, we got it.
We have been fighting for it because there is a government which will fund it. And once it comes up, believe me, it will thrive like a good center.
Absolutely.
It will be a business also after some time. But imagine those drivers, if they can sleep well, they can tell their kids how their life. Today, you read this book, 10,000 kilometers of Rameshji, and you'll see that how difficult it is to drive in a truck.
Absolutely.
Right? So things are changing that way. And I'm very happy that none other than Mr. Modi, a lot of demands from the trucker community is there in that respect for driver. For example, their Mediclaim, their Ayushman Bharat, just because they have something, they are not getting that right. So I think it is just one demand which has been made, which is about this resting center. There are many demands for drivers.
Now, what else can be done to make a driver's life better?
I think the first thing, we should regulate this. We are not, why government is not regulating? Just because they are thinking it's politically not so attractive. They must see today every factory worker is regulated.
Yes.
And regulated in a friendly manner. I'm not telling regulated in a, but suppose today a driver gets upar ka itna kama lenge, idhar itna. See, give him a good PF, give him a good salary.
Respectably, in a respectable manner.
He can also tell that I have a salary slip. This is my iCard. There are some fleet owners who are doing it on their own. So why can't we can have either the industry does it or government regulate it? But the time has come that this profession, today we have got a scarcity of around another, we did at ASDC a skill gap analysis, 28 lakhs of mechanic and driver scarcity. Who wants to become mechanic or driver?
Nobody.
But if you can really make it respectable, yes. India needs it, because see, you can't buy skill just by throwing money. You need to train and you need to create an aspiration for that. No mother wants to marry their girl to a master plumber. But as long as you don't do that, your bathroom will keep leaking.
Correct.
So we have to change the perspective. India is obsessed with degree and designation. Just because I give my card as a CEO, the way they talk is changing. No. We should get respect by our skill. If I can articulate well, Rama Shankar Pandey should be known by what intrinsically I am skilled for. Not as CEO of Tata Green Battery or MD of Hella India Lighting. I don't think I want to associate with my position. I want to associate with my skill, what I can do, what I am, what is my true nature. So if we can change that society, Germany, I see exactly that. People with skill are celebrated. Wow. That is where I see a big difference. A photographer comes with such a pride. Driver comes with a pride. And I still remember a mechanic in New Zealand. My bus was having some seat problem. The bus was waiting for the mechanic to come. He came in his Mercedes. He repaired. Everybody clapped. He left. Wow. So this celebration of our blue collar, so-called blue collar people, because we depend on them. India, I still remember when Dr. Kalam came to my college, and that's why we started this Prayas as a foundation in my early Bosch days, was because he said that India will have no problem with engineers. There'll be enough and sometimes unemployable. But India growth will be restricted because hand job. People will not do that because you don't give respect to them. And time has come that we should start organizing this driver as a community, make it professional, create bodies for them. I'm always from FICCI, because I'm also chairman there for road safety. I've always invited to create a driver safe club. I still remember I was talking to Captain Gitanjali at Air India, and she was also quite supportive to motivate these small group of drivers so that more talent comes into this. More girls come, more ladies comes. I remember at Hela we did all ladies training for the cab drivers, Sakha driver. In Indore with Tata, I remember I recognized the first bus driver of Indore. She was there with me and she was telling about her story, how society initially was not favoring her. Now she's a big bus driver. So she can now tell, okay, I'm also. So we recognized her. There's a mechanic institute there in Indore. I really love to meet many of them. I called all of them. We recognize them from Tata. So I think the society has to do their bit to formalize this, to make driver as a real professional, and they should be proud. In some countries I've seen the pilot who flies the plane. Sometimes they drive the bus. I've seen them, and I've seen many interviews of those people. So there's no difference. It's commercial driver is a commercial driver. Absolutely. So the best thing we can do is to regulate or formalize that sector. Then all the resting stations, like you said. Other than resting station, I think whatever the driver need to drive safe should be prioritized. It should not be left that only the fleet owner is investing into things which is only for his ROI, but there should be safety. For example, he needs a good light, he needs a good brake, he needs a good mirror, he needs a good telematics, he needs a good training. it should be prioritized. I know some of the fleet owners are doing it. The new edge is doing it quite a lot. So we need to celebrate those new edge, and then let's give certificate to them. Let's give them ASDC certification. Government of India certificate is there. Their employability increases. Give them a spec. उनका जो stereotyping है, test their eyes, and 60% of them need after, because every 10 years your eye drops. So so you need around more lights to see. So there you have support to this. So driver needs to be in the driving seat of this industry.
Absolutely. Finally, what are your future plans from here on?
I think the one of the dream which I have is how the road safety. What I see, since it is a bad luck topic, it's not a science topic, and the only thing which can really make this saving life on road is the public movement. What I say always, let's be the change. जब हम बदलेंगे तो देश बदलेगा. So my idea is how to make it cool. How people who are on the defensive driving side, people who are really they value their life and they value the life of others, they should be celebrated in the society. So I'm looking to collaborate with every stakeholder. Unfortunately, there are many. In fact, 2 days back in Pune, we did a massive collaboration of all these stakeholders. There were thousands of people. We did roughly 1.5 million walking steps for road safety. The idea is that can we build around 10,000 to 12,000? I'm talking this since my BSF when they called us to Wagah border to 50,000 people there. And many of them send me later because we have WhatsApp number of lakhs of people and they want to create this. So if 10,000 strong drive safe club in schools, colleges, industry, corporates, transporters, if we can make, and then we have a charter for it, to on a grassroots level to make safe or defensive driving popular and use small of these activity to become like a habit. We are starting with school kids. We have built a very good anthem which is sung by Sonu Nigam, which is saying Jid hai. Somehow we will change this on the road. So idea is to build this club, make road safety cool, do a lot of activities around it, because our mind has so much of distraction. Today even security guard I see, he opens the gate with the reels and he's seeing it. So what is happening? So much of distraction. So we need a high decibel messaging which is not convincing. दिल में उतर जाए.
Correct.
दिल में उतर जाए कि कैसे ये cool है और इसमें सबका फायदा है और ये करना मुश्किल नहीं है. ये करना कुछ भी मुश्किल नहीं.
Actually, it's not difficult.
हाँ, but लोग इसलिए नहीं करते कि दूसरे नहीं करते हैं. तो वही हो गया ना, क्या कहेंगे?
वो लूप में चला जा रहे हो.
सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग एक दूसरे को हम पप्पू समझते हैं ना. That has to change, and for this whatever small initiative has to be taken, I started with 1 crore steps, I remember. Then we did 1 crore Haath Saath Saath, where we had some 50 lakhs people coming in schools, colleges, making the human change. Then we said from awareness to commitment. Now 2 days back in Pune also we had 8-point code of conduct, so which is just a 8 kind of a pledge. They take the pledge. We have the online link for the pledge. We have the offline activity for the pledge. And then after that, I want corporates and small organizations to install simple technology to monitor. Suppose you take a pledge and I'll give you an app in the mobile. You can tell me after 10 days now how you're performing.
Right.
And I will value you more if your performance is increasing. See, as long as you're able to tell I was bad, but I'm good now, you'll not be ashamed of bad.
Absolutely.
You'll openly tell I was bad, but now I'm better because I'm improving every day. So the dream is how can we create a data lake of all of this data coming together and make a leaderboard of people and make them, you can say, celebrity. Anybody who is driving better, they should be seen as a celebrity.
Celebrity saving the lives on the roads.
Exactly. Because, you inspire people when you do it ourselves. Road safety has to happen on road, not in the conference rooms. It's a charity which is big.
I strongly believe in that.
Yeah. So my next step is only this: get more collaboration, come together. From FICCI, we are looking at having a large intervention in this regard. Even at ACMA, we are looking the same way. What I see is the ministry is also looking exactly into the Jan Andolan. Nothing less than a public movement will change us. But personally, every day I want to inspire at least 5, 10, 20 people. I'm doing this since decade now. I feel to some extent I'm successful because I see the tribe is growing. And with you, another link of the network to grow. Because if every transporter comes on board and दिल से अगर चाहेंगे, तो things will definitely change. So be the change. जब हम बदलेंगे तो देश बदलेगा. and then monitor with technology, from awareness to commitment to monitoring. Because without monitoring, a feedback loop, you don't know
You
how
don't know
good
what's
you are.
happening. Yes.
So you need a technology. So we can use technology for different things. But one thing we can do easily is training us. It trains us, it makes us celebrity also, and make the road safety.
That was our interaction with Rama Shankar Pandey. We hope that this interaction will be a learning for everyone, and we urge you to share this episode with your family, friends, and colleagues. Road safety is of utmost importance, and casualness on the road while driving or even walking can be dangerous. At the same time, with massive development happening in the road transport industry, there is technology available in trucks that can be a lifesaver. There are systems and alerts that give the truck driver an extra couple of seconds to react, which can be the difference between life and death. So, what are these systems, and can transporters use these technologies, especially in a scenario where customers do not pay additional freight for installing these safety devices? Next week, we'll be talking to a first generation transporter who has been in business for over a decade and spent a lot of time analyzing accidents and how they can be prevented, especially with the use of technology. This first generation trucking entrepreneur is going to unveil a product launch, a 32 feet SXL container truck with maximum safety features that probably is going to be an industry first. We will be covering the launch exclusively in Trans Tropics and Trans India next month. But we will be back next week with this very interesting interaction. Until then, stay safe, drive safe, and subscribe to the channel. You are watching Trans India, real people, real emotions. Jai Hind.